I done been here for a minute. When the fuck this shit gon' finish? I done worked since like 11, maybe 12, but I can't remember. Probably cause a motherfucker smoke too much, cause I know too much. Could you hold my cup? What would you do if I died today? Probably just smoke up and ride away. If I can see it, I devise the plan. Probably overanalyze it, damn. I can't even recognize you, bitch. I done got too fucking high, you bitch. Shit, that's a problem. If you got solutions, you can fucking.
Yo, guys, what's going on? It's your dude Superb.
Oh, Tom. Davey Miss.
And we are back for another episode of MC2MC. And today, we're going to talk about this Lil Yachty album, most importantly. Then there's a lot of things to say about this thing.
A whole lot of things.
I don't know, we'll just kind of go from there. But, yeah.
First off, like and comment and subscribe if you haven't yet.
Yes, we're almost to 200. So.
Almost.
Almost.
Yes.
Yeesh.
And leave comments.
Yeah, we love talking back.
Leave comments, most importantly.
Yeesh.
Feedback. But, you know, I'm gonna let Tom take the floor on this one, man. This guy, he seems like he's got a lot of things to say about this.
A lot of thoughts.
Yeah, so go
Okay,
for it.
I can start this off. Yeah. First off, I would like to say congratulations to Lil Yachty on pulling off the genre switch. Most people, they have trouble doing it. At least, you know, critic-wise, and it seems to be the critics are enjoying this so far. There's only two reviews listed on AOTY right now, but I was looking before we started. But yeah, I want to start off by saying I think this is a landmark project. Mm-hmm. I think.
Put the mic closer.
Well, anyway, I think this is a landmark project. I think that this is the first project that really is gonna kickstart this thing I've been saying for a few years now. That music's gonna go back into this more instrumentation based kind of thing. I think kids are kind of gonna reject how unnatural music has become. And I'm not saying that as a negative, because I like all that shit. Like, I like all the unnatural shit, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the digitally produced stuff, but I think this is gonna kickstart a wave of like more instrumentation based stuff and live play but yeah, I think the album is wonderful. I think the pacing, for one, that's like my biggest compliment I can give it right now, is the pacing of the album is super good. The transitions, the little like instrumentation breaks and the flourishes and the drums are fucking incredible throughout the whole project. They hit hard. The fills are where they need to be, like expert level drops and stuff. Like, everything about it I love. Yeah, what do y'all think?
I think that it is an important album. Like we were saying before, I think that it's more so with your theory of the people getting back to like authentic instrumentation and things. I feel like this album's gonna be more of an influence on like rappers specifically and like pop people, like super pop, like computer pop and shit. I mean, but not for people already kind of doing this shit. But I think it's like, it's such a switch up for Lil Yachty. I have to say, I commend Lil Yachty for it too, man, because I'm not gonna lie, like, I never really been the biggest Lil Yachty fan, to be honest. Like,
I don't know if I like any of his stuff personally.
I like, there's like a few songs and stuff he's made over the years that I like, but I've always thought that he's like a dope person. Like, he seems cool.
He interviews very well. Like, he seems very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would love to hang out with him sometime.
Shit,
Yeah.
But I do have to say, I do have a newfound respect, though, for this. You know, like, it is a switch up, and it is hard. And I was saying before, it's like, I feel like every rapper, like, if they do something different, they want to do, like, a fucking rock album, and it sucks ass. You know? I don't think it's something that easy you can just hop in. I think it takes a certain understanding of like music and arrangement and composing and things to like pull some shit off like this. So
I kind of want to know what Kid Cudi thinks about this.
Once again, I would like to see kind of a little bit more into this creative process, how it was done. And it's not to like slight Lil Yachty. I just want to see like how his brain works or how he came up with this shit. That's the thing that's got me most curious. Like, how did he think of this concept, or like how did he get into it? What inspired the switch? Like, why was it done the way, or like why he chose the people he chose and shit like that. Because obviously it took a team to pull this project off. And, you know, it's an impressive effort.
Yeah, and most of the producers and writers are the same ones throughout
on
the whole
all the tracks,
list,
yeah.
Which that's exactly what me and Perb preach a lot of the time is like these young artists, so when they do get a budget and stuff, to like go and try some different stuff with producers that are like that know what you're trying to go after. And it seems that he did that. I mean, Mac DeMarco's on this thing, like Magdalene Bay or whatever,
Yeah.
like there's tons of different producers and stuff who would definitely understand the sound. And, yeah, I mean, just on the sound, a lot of people are saying Tame Impala. A lot of people are saying
Pink Floyd.
I
mean, those things are there.
I definitely hear it. But more towards the second half of the album, I think it gets less like that. I think if anything, it's more like Pink Floyd than anything else. But
Yeah, definitely more of the Pink Floyd, definitely. And I think a lot of that is like transitions and even certain chord changes and things feel very similar of that sound. Definitely. And the drums have a 70s texture to them as well.
Definitely.
They sound like definitely, especially on Running Out of Time.
But
the groove with that.
Beef the hell up.
Yeah, beef the hell up. 70s drums, beef the hell up for sure. Fucking beef the fuck up.
What y'all?
Yeah, man, but nah, back to the how this is a landmark. I do feel that, like, in more detail, this is an important thing. For one, I feel like we haven't got something of such a switch up probably since something like 808 and Heartbreak from an artist.
Definitely.
I don't think it's near anywhere going to be as influential as that. I mean, 808 and Heartbreak is why people like Yachty are even doing shit like this.
I would say Speeding Bullet to Heaven was definitely a switch up, but in the wrong direction.
But it wasn't. I always say about that album, if it was executed more nicely, it would have been okay.
Yeah,
because I get what he was going for, but it was ass. It wasn't done right, and I think that's the thing. Like, a lot of people try to do that shit, and it's not done nicely. So, yeah, I think it takes a certain ear or a vision to like choose people and be like, these are the people I want to help me do this kind of record. And once again, this is important because it hasn't been something like this since like 808. So I'll be curious to see a lot of rappers and shit try to switch the thing up. Like Trippie Redd, we mentioned, I think, on the last episode, he tried to do some shit like that with the, what was it, Pegasus versus the Mega Shark or some shit with the Travis Barker.
It's not
thing.
even this like switching it up. It's like push yourself a little bit more. This may set the course of like who's an actual artist and who's just riding waves.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know,
that is wow.
That's a good way
I'm
to
clipping
put it.
that shit because that was beautiful. That was fucking beautiful, man.
I haven't said anything
yet. Yeah, that was great.
That was great.
That was great.
Yeah, because I think Yachty, he has to understand the sound and shit, because like, I mean, especially on the second half, the way it flows and just like you get lost in this album. The first time I listened to it, I went in with AirPods, laying in bed, and I got totally sucked in. Like, was not thinking about anything else. I was in that world.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that in a long time. Like, a long time. I think the last time was, like, Igor with, like, Tyler. That's probably the last time I was, like, sucked into an album like that.
Igor's nice.
And, yeah, I think this... And it's not like he hasn't tried, because on Teenage Emotion, I haven't listened to that album in a long time. It's Yachty's like debut album. He's trying some different stuff on that album, but it didn't work out.
I think that's always been the thing with Yachty.
Yeah.
I think I've never discredited him of not trying different things. I feel he's tried a lot of things in his career. It's just like it don't be hitting to me.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I've just never really been a fan. It's like, I've always respected him as a person, once again, but like the shit, even when he tried different shit, I'm just like, I don't know, I don't like this. But no, I will give him his kudos. This is done nicely.
It's done with such class, like an understanding of...
I have a theory about Poland too.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
I think Poland either it could have been of two ways. He made Poland around the same time as when he was working on these records, which I think is true. Because that damn vibrato thing that he's got on his voice is a lot scattered throughout this album or some shit. And I don't know if it was rather when it got leaked, people were just like, oh, man, like this shit fire. And then he went back and like added a lot more of that shit to this album, or if it was just all done in the same period of time.
Yeah, possibly. And if he did, that's smart because Poland goes hard.
Yeah.
Like, Poland goes crazy. I think his vocal stuff on first listen, the Black Seminole, the first time we listened to it when it came out that night on like TV, like Bose speaker, like nothing that's gonna knock your socks off sound wise, but I was kind of thrown off by his vocals just because they were a little off time and like, you know, kind of loose with it.
Yeah,
I feel like they tighten up throughout the project and get a little more like on time. And
he admits he's off time sometimes too, or I believe I've seen like interviews with him talking about that. That's what always throws me. His lyrical choice is always odd to me as well.
Yeah,
he says some weird shit.
He does say, yeah, definitely. I think the lyrics in this are, it can go two ways.
Some of them get a little.
Album.
He definitely had a similar. Remember the titty thing with
on
Trippy.
Pretty's one of my favorite songs.
He
actually,
says he says
he's like kissing on her thighs, grabbing on her titties.
I don't hate it.
And I don't hate it.
Yeah.
That song's got a certain swagger to it. And it's like, it rides, and it's and it's like the vibrato shit, I like it because it's goofy. And I know he know that shit goofy. And I laugh at it every fucking time I hear it in any song.
I laugh whenever I hear the vibrato.
Yeah, the vibrato is hilarious. It's hilarious.
It cracks me up.
But also, it's the same thing that kind of sets the vibe of it.
It's memorable.
It adds that flavor that's
style,
needed. Yeah. You know, it's a new thing he started doing, and I really like it.
It's only something Lil Yachty could do. Like, obviously other people could do it, but like, you don't hear that ever from anyone else.
But
really.
I think Poland is the reason, because we weren't hearing him doing that before that.
That might have been
Poland
a
was the
tester,
whole reason why
dude.
we were like, oh, yo, this shit is different from Lil Yachty.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, yeah.
There might have been a test run just with Poland.
Maybe.
With that vibrato thingy.
Yeah, I was watching interviews, and he said Poland, like, he made it and literally didn't listen to it again.
Yeah, he was like a hacker asked him if he could leak it.
Oh, really?
He was like, fuck it, yeah, go for it. He's like, he didn't think it would blow up like it did.
The only reason he released it is because it was going crazy on the leak. So
Yeah.
I don't think he ever planned to release that. Which I think that would have made it. It's like some cosmic god shit that Poland got his name back into the lexicon again.
Yeah.
So he could release something like this and people would actually listen to it. Because I don't think if Poland would have dropped, people would have been as excited about this album as they were. Man. And I'm just thinking of that right now.
I think Poland has
anyone
a lot
was
to do.
expecting this though. Like, what do you mean as excited just after listening to it the first time? Because I don't remember hearing anything about this coming out.
I heard rumblings of it back in like November and December. Yeah, because it had leaked. The whole album leaked like months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And people were saying that he was trying to do something different with it and it was going to be a rock sound and stuff. And I didn't listen to the leak, but I'm glad I didn't because I'm glad I got to hear the finished product.
I don't ever listen to leaks. I didn't listen to any of the Donda leaks.
I like
either.
to hear Ye leaks a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Ye
They're
leaks
great.
are interesting because
You can just learn from them, man.
Yeah.
You learn from them. They're such a learning experience. I mean, but yeah, man, Lil Yachty, dude, man, kudos to the guy. I don't know. Tizo, I do want to talk about some of the notable songs before we kind of move off or whatever, or however deep we go. But I do like The Ride. That is.
Still.
Oh.
That was creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Just somebody going in their room, guys. Yeah, but The Ride, I love. I think the Tizo touchdown feature is genius. Such a great fusion.
Yes.
And Tizo's got that rock thing going on already
Yes.
with like social cues. I love that song.
I think Tizo will be he's like next up when it comes to like pushing boundaries and stuff. I think Tizo will be, because I think his the way whoever's handling his career or whatever, and I mean, shit, it might be him. I don't know, but like getting on these features on different artists' stuff and like building up hype, I think, for his debut. Tizo's gonna be great. Tizo's gonna be great for sure. And Yachty chose great features. Like, I think every feature hits. Although you didn't like that one.
I kind of feel like the Fushi feature on Pretty, I don't know how I feel about it, but the song's still my favorite song. I feel like the vibe of the song and Yachty and the vibrato and everything just set such a fucking vibe for me that, like, she can't kill that vibe for me.
Yeah.
It's just a
I think
hard
it
song.
adds to the vibe. I think it gives a nice switch up. But
And maybe I just might need to break the song in some more times, but I don't know. When she comes on, I just don't know how I feel about it.
yeah.
Yachty's part is just cool. He's just like, welcome to Sunset City. We in Sun City. Like,
Super laid
it's
back
a whole
and just,
like, it's like a whole goddamn Miami's 80 Vice kind of thing, bro. And you're like,
he hit a different pocket with
yeah, it's also like some goddamn vaporwave
Yeah.
kind of like vibe, bro. Slow mo type shit. I just picture it, bro. I picture it. You know, Should I Be? That's another one I'd say is one of my favorites.
Blows my mind that you guys memorize these things so fast.
Well, I've listened to it a good amount now.
I only listened to it
and
twice.
the thing is like every time I've listened to it, I've come out with a new favorite song,
Gotcha.
which that's a good sign for me that it's a great project.
You can't just play one song like it's a full all the way through project.
Yeah.
I've lost all vision. I don't know how I feel about that one. I'm not a fan.
I love it because
The instrumental and shit is great, but I just can't. I don't know. Other than that vibe, I don't know.
it's so heavy.
It's heavy.
And that's my thing with a lot of these projects where artists are trying to break out of their genre and do something else. Like a lot of people, like the Lil Wayne thing, MGK, Kid Cudi, although not so much what I'm talking about right now, but it's that they do it, but they do it with like the lowest common denominator of like what the genre is. So it's like it always comes out as like so polished and like overproduced and just like too pretty. Like this album it's kind of rough around the edges, but not at all at the same time. Like
I would agree with that.
it's like it's grimy and it's you can feel it. Like it feels like a
It's really this
fucking
dude.
classic record.
But
Like
those vocals are clean.
the vocals are clean, but like
Yeah.
the guitars are crunchy and distorted and they're not like, and the drums are so crunchy and like just
They do sound old.
Yeah, the vocals are clean. I do wish, like, I feel like even as clean as they are, I still can't make out some words on some of the songs he's doing. And I don't know if that's just a Lil Yachty thing. I know he has some tonal problems sometimes. He's kind of always had this muffled kind of
yeah.
thing going on with the way he sounds. But
And maybe if Lil Yachty's vocals weren't on it, if it was someone else, maybe it'd be less special because like you're infusing like the lean soaked auto tune.
yeah, it's
with,
obviously
like-
a hip hop fusion of
Yeah.
vocal It's hip hop vocal processing mixed with like actual rock instrumental. That's basically what
with
it
like
is.
authentic like rock, like mixed like how rock should be mixed and stuff. It's hard to explain what I'm like trying to like. If you just go back and listen to the Lil Wayne shit, it's like you get it, like because it's too glossy and like.
No, I get exactly
Yeah,
what you're
you know
saying.
what I'm saying,
No, this
yeah.
sounds like actual. You can hear that the record was obviously done on like hardware. It was done in an actual analog studio. That shit's like warm as fuck. You ain't getting that off.
And
no
if it's
fucking-
not, I'm gonna need those plugins.
Who like mixed? Do you guys know who mixed
I
the
don't know who
mastered
I
it?
don't know who mixed it, but
They
I know,
probably got like a rock and roll mixer too.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
It sounds like it, and
I'm sure some of this should be on sound soon.
Probably, yeah.
I know it was recorded at a place called Sonic Ranch because that's what the leak was named.
I don't know where that is.
But yeah, I don't know where that studio is either, but it sounds great.
I wonder if artists just search for rando studios that are just in the middle of nowhere, that are like huge, kind of like Silas's.
Yeah, my buddy got
Family
Bieber
one.
at his studio, so I mean, yeah, it can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely done in the actual real deal studio for sure. Definitely. Mike Will said it in a tweet. He was like, "Yo, Lil Yachty definitely outdid himself and a lot of his peers with this project."
Questlove is losing his shit over it. The Roots drummer.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people's been praising it, and I think it deserves the praise because
I'm happy for him because I'm just happy that I actually got some shit from him where I'm like, I can rock with this. Because I just really don't be
because you
feeling
weren't into
like
like Minnesota and all that.
Yeah, no, never really was. I understand the importance of it. I understand Lil Yachty and his place in the culture. He definitely belongs. He's an important guy. I've never felt he didn't belong here. It was just like a lot of what he makes I just didn't rock with. But once again, he's a cool guy. And it's nice to see that he's doing shit like this. And it's nice to see that even with the Drake album that came out, at 21, Her Loss, like he had a lot of production credits and shit on there. So it does seem like he is more than just some rapping ass SoundCloud dude. And I'm going to give him his props. Because X was doing shit like that.
I would love to, like you were saying, see if there was like a behind the scenes or like the creative process of that, of like how did he coordinate it? How did he direct maybe some other producers and musicians and stuff to make it flow into itself like it does?
Yeah, there has to be.
That's a skill, dude.
Yeah, there has to be like a singular vision with this shit or they were just on one in the studio and all of them was like linked up headwise and knew exactly what they were doing. Because I mean, for the most part, it is the same producers on each track. So, I mean.
And that's good. I mean, that's how you get a cohesive sound, I feel, It's just, even with that, obviously these are some very talented musicians.
Absolutely.
Like, they're obviously top-notch to work this out. So I know they had to have, it's evident that they had a lot of heavy input in how this shit was produced and how it was arranged. But I just wonder how Yachty ran it all.
Dude, I fucking called this like a couple years ago, I think, when we were getting the Upstate shit going, how like, because music is getting so easy to make nowadays, so like everyone and their mother's like becoming a rapper, making beats with like 3 splice loops and whatever the fuck, there has to be a division between like the A-listers and everyone else. So like the A-listers have the means to do gnarly shit like this album. Yeah. And it's really going to stand out from everyone else because everyone who is just kind of getting into it all sounds the same. They got the auto-tune, they got Logic, they got some beats off of BeatStars or whatever the fuck, but like they can't do this.
Yeah, this is a disruption record. Like this is gonna disrupt things. This is gonna make people rethink what they're doing, I think.
Yeah. I told you it's not gonna be cool to be in the creative industry like in 10, 20 years, dude.
I think I
think it's already like that. Corny motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think it's already there, and I think I've been thinking the same shit too. I was not quite like this. I just see him doing a rock album. Obviously, like what I was saying, like hip hop infusion, but I do see like rappers and like rap and hip hop getting a lot more musical. I hear that, and I hear that just with early origins of like people like Tyler and shit with like Flower Boy and stuff. It's like that infusion of the hip hop and things. It's still shit I feel can like be played live just because it's actual chordal arrangements and things like it still has that introduction of like those elements of arranging and chords and keys and shit like that, like
this one feels different than the others too.
Yeah,
like Kanye was quite a movement with changing things up, especially with 808. But like I didn't grow up with Tyler the Creator, so I didn't get those feelings of when Igor came out and all those. But this one does feel like it's going to make people rethink how they do things.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna make them feel that way because Yachty, if anyone could be put into a box, it's someone like Yachty. Because, like, he doesn't have that much vocal range. His vocals aren't perfect. Most people would look at Yachty and say, well, you can do this one thing. But...
No, seriously.
But, like, seriously, especially labels and shit. Like,
and it might be that expectation that is what makes this cool. Because who the fuck would have expected it?
I literally saw a tweet where a guy, it was a comment I randomly read, and I was like, oh, no, it's kind of true. It was like, yo, we pretty much don't expect much from Lil Yachty. Most people don't. And it's like getting even something decent from him is like, whoa. Like, honestly. Yeah. Because
we're Kanye and Tyler, like, we expect some
we expect that shit. And Kanye is different. He tries to make the point about fucking Yachty having people around and stuff. Kanye is a producer first. Like, that motherfucker understands arrangements and things, and that motherfucker was already working other people's records. So it's like, when you talk about creative processes, he's already showed what he's capable of. That's why I'm just kind of curious with how Yachty's brain work. I'm not discrediting him. It's just like Kanye's a different beast. And then he was always kind of on that. He's the reason why motherfuckers started doing like the pop rap and shit like that. Graduation was kind of like that first thing. Then he went to straight 808 and Heartbreak, and that was always his vision. Like, he was one of those motherfuckers who proved, like, yo, bro, I'm not really just a rapper. I'm, like, an artist.
Maybe Yachty's been fucking with us the whole time.
I've always thought Yachty was dope. Like, I loved Minnesota. One Night. I thought all that was super original, especially for its time. It was, like, bubblegum trap shit. Like, there wasn't really anything else that sounded like it at the time.
No, definitely. That's true. That's
like,
true.
Nothing. And whether you like it or not, it is original. And I mean, there was stuff that he was trying. I saw like early like SoundCloud uploads and stuff on Twitter that were like over like MGMT stuff and like just weird stuff. So it's like he obviously knows and has experience with other types of shit. So it's like
he has to love rock to have made something like
this. Yeah, in an interview I saw that Pink Floyd was his main inspiration for it, so that does make sense. It does sound like Pink Floyd, but not like in a bad way to where it's like derivative.
No, it's definitely modern. It's definitely got like that hip hop inflection and stuff. I feel, you know, he encompassed that very well. He did. He definitely did. It's literally in a technical way. Once again, I feel it's a hip hop process, vocal styles and cadences and flows and things over very authentic, like, rock instrumentals. I feel like he just encompassed those two things and made it sound like a nice packaged product.
And maybe that's what, I mean, maybe Yachty has seen over the past few years that maybe he isn't getting the respect that he necessarily thinks he deserves.
He's have to.
So maybe that's why he was like, okay, well, y'all don't think I'm the shit. I'm going to pull out all the guns to make y'all.
He did say something about, like, I just want to be seen as an artist, and that's it.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Tyler said before.
He's got respect. Because, I mean, bro, like, you really got to take a mindset to be like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm about to really do an authentic-ass record of rock, and I'm going to get dope producers. I'm going to get songwriters around. I'm going to fucking figure it out. Like, I'm going to do what I need to do to be considered great by the others on that level.
And it's so cool that he did it after Poland, which is his biggest hit in 6 years, probably. Like probably 6 years.
Yeah.
So you have your biggest hit in 6 years, and then you completely switch up the sound. That takes some balls. Like, most people, someone like Trippie Redd, who we reviewed his album last week, they would have gotten a hit like that and then just made 12 to 28 fucking songs of the same thing and released it, and it would have sold 50,000 in the first week. Maybe you would have got another hit or something, and then it would have been dead after that. But this album, I feel like, although I don't think it's going to sell gangbusters at first, but I think this will have a steady climb where it keeps selling and keeps selling. Word of mouth will keep going, and people will be like, you have to listen to this thing. It's completely out of this fucking world. Like, I think that's the trajectory for this album, and I'm glad that he didn't rest on his laurels and actually bucked up and did like some different shit. And apparently he recorded it like 2 years ago, so he's been sitting on it for a minute.
He's probably got wilder shit now.
It's hard to tell what else he has. That's exciting. And I didn't think I would be excited about Lil Yachty stuff. I mean, 2 months ago, a week ago, before this came out. Literally
I've only been interested in his, like, what is that sneaker show on YouTube? Like his sneaker closet. He's got dope sneakers.
Yeah.
But
yeah, when this was leaked, it didn't even register me that it could have been this good. Like, I was underestimating his ability to put together something this special. And
I think for me, now that I've heard it, I'm like, all right, I'm impressed. Now I'm just curious. I'm like, all right, so are you going to be able to top this?
Do it again, yeah.
You know? I feel like that's kind of how I felt. I think the most similar feeling I have with this right now, I know what exact situation I could compare it to. It was Young Lean's Stranger album, the one with the red cover that had like Red Bottom Sky and all that shit.
Go song.
And I was like, damn, this is such a switch up for Young Lean, bro. I really fucking like this shit. I'm excited to see where he fucking goes. I remember even watching the Fantano review. He said the same shit. He's like, yo, this is like a highlight for him. This is something really different.
Did Fantano review it yet?
No, he hasn't.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what he says. Because I'm like, all right, this is nice. I'm just curious, like, all right, Lil Yachty, you've proven that you can do a record like this. I just hope he can be someone in the culture who actually, like, takes this shit and continues to, like, do different shit and push it, because we don't really have anybody like that right now, to be honest. I feel like we lost a lot of them, like, with, like, X and Juice and Peep and shit like that. And it's just refreshing to hear people actually trying to do some different shit and do it good. I just hope he continues it, because the game really fucking needs it right now. I'm over this trap shit.
Yeah, I'm not like over the trap shit. I'm excited about like what the
I'm not like, I like the trap sounds and shit, but I just feel like it's such a, the trap sound now is just such a product. It's like, you know how to do it. You know, it's like, it's
like
cool.
The Dodge Challenger that's been looking
the
same for like 15 years.
It's cool to take the elements of it and mix it with shit like this and stuff. That's what we need, man. We need people taking the sound and expounding upon it even further. I feel like it's just stuck somewhere right now.
And I think that's natural too. I mean, I think trap kind of peaked. I think it made its peak with like Culture One with Migos.
This was like 2017.
Yeah. So everything after that is kind of going to be like, how far can we take this genre? So I think like Playboi Carti was part of that. He took it far. I think X was doing some weird metal trap shit that I
Man,
think
if
took
X
it
was
very
alive,
far.
man, he would have been did an album like this. That's the fucked up part.
Dude, yeah. I think losing X, Peep, and Juice WRLD set hip hop and not even hip hop, popular music. I think
Back
it
by
set
like a
it
few
back
years or so, more.
like 20 years. Like they were doing stuff that no one else was doing, and they were doing it super authentically and with like they had the ear. They had the influences. You could tell their influences, but they weren't being like overshadowed by their talent. So I think I commend Lil Yachty on this. I'm setting it like, I'm setting it, I think, a 9. I'm gonna, and I still need to listen to it more. That could go up or it could go down. I don't think it's gonna go down much, but I think I think I'm setting it at a solid 9.
I don't know. I think I'm sitting more around
7
6, 7. Yeah.
That's fair. And I think it hits hard for me because I've been wanting something like this for a long time. Someone to come along and do the genre with like the sound that I want. You know what I mean? That like it's not glossy and MGK. Fucking MGK. That is how you don't do this shit. And sure, it kind of revitalized his career or whatever, but like that shit is gonna sound like ass 5 minutes after it's released. This will sound good for the next fucking 100 years, I bet. Like this is a solid project, and I'm setting it like a 9. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm thinking like 6, 7, but I think it's a great effort.
The 7 for me is more like shock value. Like was not expecting it.
Oh yeah, I didn't have the mic by my mouth. Yeah, I'm thinking like 6, 7 on this thing. I think going for an 8, 9, 10. I don't know. I'm not.
What's holding you back from that?
What's holding me back from that? I feel like the record is nice. There's a good amount of songs I like, and I'm like, okay, on the vibe. Then I feel like my rating is kind of different because I do feel like the album is very nicely produced. I feel like all the instrumentals are great. I feel like everything bleeds into each other properly. I feel like the tones and everything are right. I just feel like some of the songs, though, I feel like it's just a passage, and I'm more so lost in the vibe and the zone, which is a good thing. But it's like, as far as coming back to this record and listening to it all the time, I just don't see that. And that's
Similar
what make
to
it like
Mr.
a 10 for me if it's something, I'm coming back to this.
Similar to the Kendrick album, where I was like, holy shit, this is rad. And then I don't listen to it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I don't really need to, you know?
I feel like I'm going to be listening to this for months. When I get in my car, first thing I think of putting on is this album. And I think it's just going to get better with age. I think
It might.
It might.
And it might hit me at a different time. It might just be like not the right time for me to get this.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm in a certain mindset right now too. So it's like, I don't know, with the way it feels right now, it's cool. It might grow on me more too. I mean, a couple songs have grown on to me since more listens. You know, some of the shit I don't like, I might just have to keep digesting it, you know, and really figure out what the main purpose of the song is or how it's meant to be perceived or whatever. You know, maybe it's not a click for me.
Yeah, I think the first half songs, I will say this before we wrap it up. I think the first half of the songs have a clear verse, chorus with a breakdown somewhere in there kind of structure. And then once it gets past this like halfway mark, it totally divulges into like classic
it definitely
record
does.
kind of shit where the songs are flowing in. It's all one big thing. And I think that was done on purpose. I think he definitely wanted. I think he wanted to have at least like one or two kind of like earwormy hits, but the rest of them are kind of just like album cuts. You know, like
Yeah.
or Dark Side of the Moon has like one hit on it, like technically.
Money.
So, but everyone loves that album.
Oh, great album. Yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot of it's a vibe, getting lost in it, zoning in it. You know, it's a good record, bro. It's a good effort. You know, I'll give it a 7. I'll take it from the 6 to the 7. You know, shock value as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, me and Davey on the same page.
Mucho.
Yeah, man. That's where I'm at with it. You got
the
any more?
last thing I will say is I think it's a good. It's not a good rock album just for being Lil Yachty. I think it's a good rock album, period. If this wasn't Lil Yachty, it would be great. But I think it being Lil Yachty adds something to it.
Yeah, look,
That's what we were
being
saying
Lil
before.
Yachty adds a lot to it.
Yeah.
That's why. And it's the fact of kind of the negatives of what he can't do. You mentioned earlier, it's the fact that the motherfucker really can't sing. Like, I mean, even though as good as some of these are mixed, he's not singing that great, but the vibes are there. You know, it's like he attempted this. He's not a great singer. He doesn't have a great vocal range. You know, a lot of his older tracks are, I mean, this is the most different kind of thing he's ever done. So yeah, him being Lil Yachty, that plays a lot into what makes this record great. And there's still a lot of things he lacks as an artist vocally and shit. That's why he had to get people there to help him. But it also shows that he's aware of his negatives and he knows how to bring people in around to help him in a lot of the areas that he lacks in. So I can appreciate that.
I mean, that's a sign of a great. Tyler does the same thing. Kanye does the same thing. So,
But Kanye's a different level.
but he still does the same thing.
He does the same thing, but he does it on a whole nother level. Stop trying to bring Kanye.
But this is the
to
first
it.
time he's tried
And
something. Like
Kanye's started as
I
a
do look
producer.
forward to seeing what Yachty can do. And I might actually go back to his older catalog and brush up on him.
And until Yachty start producing other motherfuckers like Kanye started off doing, I'm not really trying to have that comparison. But yes, it is similar, but no, he's not doing everything yet. But I'm curious to see where he will go because this is a nice record. And if he can do this for himself and he has a really good handle on how he's doing this or the people he needs to make it happen, yes, he can definitely do this with other people. And that could be just as exciting. So, yes, I am curious to see where he goes with this. I ain't
also,
hating
the
on
fact
it,
that this is his first time trying something like that's fucking crazy. That he got this good of a sound off of his first try. Like, that's fucking bananas. I don't think anyone's ever done anything like this.
On this level, I would agree.
Yay with like Yeezus, but that's different shit. That's like he's doing something like.
Well, he went
completely
into
new.
electronic music, like analog
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's really
synthesizers.
nothing
I think
that
Ye's
sounds
always
like
Ye's always had a successful crossover to me. I feel like what Yachty has done to me is not that different. I feel like it's different in a way where it's gonna push people to do different things and try different shit. But at the end of the day, it's like a rock record. It's not like I haven't heard instrumentals that sound like this and shit. Like, I mean, that's the thing for me. It's like it's not necessarily new, but the way he put it together and shit and presented it in a time where it's important in the culture for this, I think that's why it's important. That's why I think it's cool. I don't think it's something that's truly that fucking innovative. I feel like with things like 808 and Heartbreak and shit, that shit was innovative at the time. It was really different.
I think it pushes more the next generation than
To
it
do
does
different
any
shit.
genre.
Yeah, I think it
You
pushes
know?
people to do different shits.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Take someone who thinks they can only do rap and
Yeah.
shows them they can do other things,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is important.
Yeah, I think that's more so, what it is. That's good.
It is. It's different in a way that like no one.
It's different for right now because
Yeah.
nobody ain't done no shit like that in a long time.
No.
But
Especially with this level of artistry
and
behind it.
I think with the generation we're in, with the oversaturation of music and stuff, this hits very hard out of the sea of music that we're in. And music does this anyway. It always brings back some older era or something every 20 years or some shit, something new comes in and shit. Like, nothing's going to ever be completely just fucking super new. So, like, I'm not even going to really go there with it.
I'm actually curious if this would feel this way if it was 10 years ago. Back in Ye's day.
If this was 10 years ago, this shit
Yeah.
would have been very important.
I think it
You
would
think
hit
so?
even harder.
Yeah, I think it would have been, because that was coming out of like the fucking bling era rap and all that bullshit. Like somebody coming with this?
Yeah, and like the awful pop rap scene that was happening at that time was so garbage. I think it would.
But I feel like the sounds back then were more customized to each artist. Everyone
very
had a
true.
very signature sound.
That's very
so that's
true.
what I'm saying. Since everything's so bland right now, that's why this stands out so much.
Yeah, in this time.
And
That's
if
what I think.
if this came out back when Pharrell and Ye and Timberland in their heyday, and all those other producers.
Yeah,
you know.
and I do want to make it clear that we're talking about the mainstream for the most part is bland. There's
Yes,
definitely people
yes.
doing stuff in the underground.
Yeah, I
Of
mentioned
course,
that
yeah,
earlier, though.
yeah.
I was like, that's why I think this record is going to influence more so like rap people and mainstream. Because motherfuckers who already mix these things together and do this kind of shit, it's not going to be that impressive to them as like musically. I think it'll impress those guys more than like, hey, Lil Yachty, fuck yeah, you're doing something different. I fuck with that shit.
There's probably people pissed about
Like
this
welcome,
album.
welcome to our side. Like we fucking welcome you here now. Like okay, you actually stepping out. I think that's more so what it is for people who already do that kind of shit.
I think it's gonna open a lot of doors for him.
Yeah,
too,
definitely. That's what
were-
I think. I think a lot of motherfuckers who do this already, they'll be like, all right, Lil Yachty, you can hang. You can do this kind of shit too. All right, fuck yeah, we can fuck with that. And once again, all the rappers and shit who are like his peers, like Michael Will was saying, he definitely outdid them because all his peers, Lil Uzi ain't did. I love Lil Uzi. He ain't did no shit like this. Fucking, once again, X was doing shit, and I could see Juice and Peep and them, but the motherfuckers died. Like Trippie Redd, he trying. I thought he would have did something good like this by now. Like he sucking ass. Like, I'm just saying, dude. Like, I love Trippie, man, but like, come on, bro, you gotta do better, bro, than what you doing, man. Like, come on, bro, where the heart at with your music, dude?
all the pillars died, so we're left with like, and that makes it sound worse than it is, but like for real, X, Peep, Juice WRLD, those were gonna be like the next ones who are gonna be the mainstream and doing different shit. Now we don't really have that, so we're left with Trippie Redd doing his 15th album that sounds exactly the fucking same, and it's not even that mansion music was necessarily that bad. It's just boring as fuck.
Like, nobody's getting artsy, bro. Nobody's trying to like make a statement anymore, and I don't know. I rather motherfucker. That's why I appreciate this. I can appreciate something different than taking the easy route and trying to do what you know is going to sell. And I feel like that's where it's at this point.
He sold
in the
like
music game.
59K units or some shit, Trippie Redd.
Oh, that first week?
Yeah.
And I bet a lot of people were 59K were disappointed.
I
Yeah.
bet the second week is going to be around 10K. Mm-hmm. This thing, I bet
It's going to gradually go up.
I'm guessing that this sells around 40K its first week.
I mean, dude,
I don't think it's going to be
even
that much, but I think
Probably.
it'll hold its. I think it'll keep selling.
You think it's similar to Red in terms of?
Yeah, it's like something like Whole Lotta Red or Blonde. Or
yes,
Eagle
although
or,
Whole Lotta Red, I think, plays a different part in its influence. But yes, I think this thing is going to have some. I think it's influential for different reasons. Because Whole Lotta Red is something else.
Did
And I
he
feel
did
like
he
this is-
chat about the artwork at all?
Yeah.
Did he chat about the artwork at all? Because it's some weird, spooky looking artwork.
That's my one thing about it I don't like.
You don't like the artwork?
No, because it just looks like some AI shit, like AI art.
I want to know what it's
You
supposed
love
to
the country
be.
one?
Yeah, some of the AI stuff can be cool, but I don't think that one. It doesn't add anything to the album necessarily. I don't know. It just doesn't feel with what it doesn't feel like what I'm hearing. You know what I mean?
What is it supposed to be though? Is it supposed to be like label execs, or it looks political, or it looks like politicians to me?
It could be a lot of things. I don't know. A lot of people say label execs. I watched one reaction where he was listening to like half the album with that in mind, and he was like dissecting the lyrics with that in mind. So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
I might look into it later.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The cover's whatever. I'm not too bothered by it or anything. I mean, I guess when you put it like that, no, I guess the music has nothing to do with that cover, but maybe it does. Maybe Lil Yachty just needs to explain it better. That's why, once again, I'm excited to see him do some interviews and things, and hopefully we can understand what he was doing in the process of this album, why he did it, and like why he went about it, why he chose the people he did, like all that shit. I'm just curious. This is such a different thing for him. I never would have expected this in his whole career. Most people just burn out, dude. Like a rapper's lifespan, bro, today is like fucking like 3 years, 4 years.
Do you think he was kind of? I mean, like you were just saying, like 6 years, I guess, was his last like big thing since Poland. Like you get to a point where it's like, bro, fuck it, let's do some rock shit.
Yeah, I mean, he had like "Pardon Me" and that song with Tyler that was pretty cool, but like nothing like a hit. Poland was definitely like his first hit in a minute. And I think what excites me about it too is it's not that just it does something for hip hop. I think it does something for rock. Like I think it makes rock people look at themselves and be like, maybe we need to step it the fuck up because rock hasn't been shit in a minute.
Yeah, rock
There's
is
been
ass.
Tons of people doing stuff in the underground. I fuck with a lot of bands that are below the radar that aren't, but like mainstream rock, like fucking Imagine Dragons and the new Fall Out Boy and shit like that is garbage. It's fucking lowest common denominator pop bullshit garbage. And this sounds great. And I hope it influences rock too to get back to maybe some things that sound fucking good once again.
Rock's been ass for a minute. I do agree.
For like 20 years. Like it's been bad for like 20 years in the mainstream at least. Like there's always underground people doing stuff, but
yeah, mainstream rock
and like there's
sucks.
some indie stuff that I liked in the 2000s and 2010s, but I'm talking about like pure rock shit. Like no one's doing anything like this in the mainstream.
I would say Harry Styles is kind of pushing in that era of doing old school sounding
He's kind of got like a 70s pop kind of thing going more on.
He's more David Bowie, where this is more Dark Side.
Yeah. I do feel like
I wonder if that's
going
to be a thing where they're just going to select, let's just copy this guy.
I feel like Harry Styles is more like 80s Bowie, which that's not necessarily a bad thing, but
I feel like he's kind of got a 70s, 80s fusion thing going on.
it's definitely a little fusion.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely way bigger. We know this with just the pop and shit. Like, fucking Harry Styles fans are crazy.
Yeah, and I commend Harry Styles for doing something that isn't One Direction stuff over and over again. He's trying something different.
I respect any true artist, man. Lil Yachty, bro, you're a true artist to me now, man. You got my respect, bro. You've done something that's risky, something that maybe possibly everybody would have hated. You know, but you did it, bro. You did it. I ain't got shit else to say on this motherfucker. I'm curious to see what he gonna do next. I want to see interviews, thought processes, and if he can maintain this level of relevancy and actually improve and get even better. I'm curious. Is he gonna pick up? I'm just curious what he's gonna do. Like now, I'm like, oh, okay, you're doing a rock record. You're gonna fucking start learning guitar now a little bit now, or like piano or some shit. Like, are you about to start producing other motherfuckers and shit? It's just something different. I'm just curious, like what he's gonna say now. I want to see the journey from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Solid. I like it. Woo.
Yeah. All right, man. Lil Yachty. All right, we'll catch y'all on the next episode, man. Once again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, talk to us. And I'm your boy, Superb.
Oh, Tom.
Dave Missile.
And we're going to see y'all on next week's episode. Peace.